This might sound really counterintuitive, but I don't want you to meditate, to focus on the words that I'm about to say. Instead, listen to them like you would listen to waves crashing on the shore or a crackling fire. Really, meditation is just an inner listening. This is a rich life realization meditation. I'm going to share with you a 3-step process that works every single time that you have an emotion, and it works with every single emotion. First, I want to talk about emotional management techniques. There are hundreds, probably thousands, and I feel like I've tried most of them. I did yoga, meditation, breath work, counting to 10. I think that one's a classic. Visualization, affirmations. Tried just to breathe with it. I was like a emotional management junkie, and that's because I've struggled with emotions almost my whole life. I was misdiagnosed when I was a kid with bipolar disorder. I didn't think there would ever come a day that I didn't struggle with emotions. And so I tried all of the techniques. But there are also techniques that aren't as visible to us. Kind of techniques that we automatically do. And we wouldn't even think of them as emotional management techniques. They would be things like addiction. Addiction is 100% an emotional management technique. When we have addictive cravings, it means our emotions are starting to run away from us. It might be things like people-pleasing. That's something that I definitely do. Trying to make other people happy through placating them. It can also be things like overworking and putting a ton of energy and focus into your career. Might also be binging TV or social media. It can be things like putting a hole in the wall. When I was a kid, I would destroy something that could be fixable. That was my technique, and it worked really well. I have a story of one time I would take all of the light bulbs out of my parents' room, and then they'd come in. They'd be like, "What's going on with my life?" And I would be like, "Oh yeah, I was mad at you." It worked great. I mean, like, they'd be really confused, and then I would just be able to go in and turn the light bulbs back on. A lot of times our actions are innocently trying to mask emotions. When we get into conflict with somebody, or we lash out, without meaning to, we just think that that is the reality, that's the way it looks, is that they've messed up and they've hurt us, and we need to tell them. A lot of people manage their emotion through food, through addictive eating patterns, or not eating sometimes. They think that if they can control something, that it's better than not being able to control anything, especially their emotions. And I found this process, the 3-step process, and I gotta tell you, it really works. Nothing else really worked, but this really works for me. And I hope it works for you too. Step number 1 is to feel your emotion. Step number 2 is to see step 1. And step number 3 is see step 2. Okay, I know, it's a little bit glib. But it's actually something that's very powerful. Because I think a lot of the times we don't feel like it's okay to feel our emotions. And this is pointing to that it's actually okay. And notice I didn't say anything about trying to figure it out or doing anything in your mind. None of the steps are think about the emotion, analyze the emotion, figure out where it's coming from, label the emotion. No, there's something that's different that just happens if you feel the emotion in your body. And you're present with it. And you'll notice that if you do that, the emotion changes. It transforms. And it doesn't happen as long as we think it will when we do this. Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor found that an emotion only lasts 90 seconds. That's it. Now, a lot of people have had the experience of an emotion lasting more than 90 seconds, like an hour, a week, a month, maybe even, or maybe even years. And what's happening is you're recreating that emotion, you're recycling it, using the same thought patterns. What would happen if you just felt it fully for 90 seconds? I encourage you to experiment with that. And with no expectation that anything would happen or change. But come into it with a curiosity, a sense of wonder, and a sense of acceptance. Let's experiment. Let's try that over this next week. If an emotion comes up for us, we let go of trying to figure it out with our analytical mind, and we just see what happens if we're present with it. And we don't use any technique, not a single one. Because there's side effects to every single technique that you might use. And some of the techniques work sometimes and they don't work other times. I definitely found that out. And I felt like I had some semblance of control with the techniques, but when it really mattered, they didn't work. So try this instead. Feel your emotion and let it be. There are side effects to every emotional management technique, including feeling it. And the side effect to feeling it is that you feel it. And that can be hard and uncomfortable and challenging. If you relax into it, it can be freeing. It can help you to transmute emotions and thoughts and feelings that you've been holding on to. And it doesn't matter how long you've been holding on to them, they can just dissipate. And that is something that's very beautiful. This was a Rich Life meditation. If you heard something here, please share, like, subscribe. I want to impact more people, and I need your help. Your vibrant life is a single thought away.